Let's get it. Oh my gosh. I am so excited.
Whew. Did I miss the bear space?
It is so funny that you say that. You have not. And let's talk about that, honestly. Let's talk about why we haven't done the bear yet. First of all, House of the Dragon is so, so fire right now. So that's number one. But number two, they released all of the bear episodes. So I don't know where everyone's at with it and how far they've gotten. I haven't even finished it. So I can't do a space that, effectively because I don't know where everyone's at. And that's what happens when you drop everything at once instead of weekly.
Even though everyone is like asking you, please give us weekly installments so we can digest the episodes and
But
sit
you
with them.
want me, with the 8 million jobs I have, to do House of the Dragon and The Bear. That's
Not
honestly my recommendation for today because I was telling Teach, there's a misconception that because I haven't talked about The Bear that I'm not absolutely in love with it and that I haven't watched it. But I haven't finished.
Well, it's also as good a time to talk about House of the Dragon as ever because I think the last two episodes have been the best two episodes of the show back to back.
Absolutely. And I only think it's going to get better. So, Teach, come on up here. Let's talk. David, come on up here. Let's talk. I don't know why Teach hasn't joined yet. Um, First of all, Matt, this was such a good episode. No, good is an understatement. It was so great. It was so, so great. And I think it's time to just cut all the chatter about the hesitance that people had after Game of Thrones. This has been incredible. This last episode was like a football game for me. I was screaming at my TV, like, yeah, turn up on them, turn up. So let's talk about it. I think we should just start with like what we loved about the episode. Let's talk about our favorite parts of the episode. Teach, go ahead.
Well, I know that we're going to get to the obvious way that the episode ended, but there's some other stuff to chew on in this episode. I think my favorite part of the episode is one, everything with Damon at Harrenhal has been very interesting to me. The fact that he's having these dreams that we're seeing that involve young Rhaenyra. It's fun to see Millie Alcock come back into that role, at least for this small purpose. So I've really enjoyed that scene. Mo, you have to mute when people are talking. Don't forget.
Oh, is it just you? I think it's just you. I'll mute.
No, the feedback is pretty. Is
It's
yeah.
not just me. So that I really enjoyed that scene. I also enjoyed the scene. I also enjoyed the way that they showed us how Aegon was being disrespected, or at least he thinks he's being disrespected because he was. First, in the small council meeting, everybody's dunking on him. Everybody's telling him his ideas are bad, and then Aemond is talking to him in Valerian, and we realize, of course, that because Aegon's an idiot and doesn't study, he can't speak Valerian. So he got sunned. His ideas were shunned, and he realized that people were maneuvering without him. And then when he went to his mom to console him, she basically told him, do nothing. Like, whatever you're doing right now, do less of that. Like, literally do nothing and leave this to the people that are smart and the people that are worth a damn. And you were not one of those people. And you knew he was about to crash out. And I like how they showed us that he was definitely about to make a very dumb decision.
Matt, what was your favorite part?
I think it was just probably the entirety of the Renice storyline, from her confronting the. We'll get more into it later, I'm sure. The guy who saved Corlys from a watery grave, to the basically that whole end sequence where she went, two on one versus two, even though the one of them was drunk and can't speak Valerian and isn't really that great of a dragon rider. It was just really her time to shine, especially after season one. Remember, she was very hesitant. She didn't really want to declare for either side. It was nice to see her kind of like she gives you her most full her best performance in this one. She was just a great character, really well acted, and that was like the emotional payoff so far of this season was your attachment to her, knowing everything that she's gone through, her finally kind of getting full throated support to Team Black, and then the way she went out along with her companion there.
I agree. I agree. I need the feedback thing to not be so bad. Barbara, what was your favorite part?
Yeah, I would say since he already mentioned the Rainy storyline, I just like the fact that they are showing how underhanded everyone is on both sides. Like Aemon's moment where he could have taken out Aegon and he literally was waiting for him to get killed so he can kind of have his hero moment. Um, Still, they basically confronted Damon about how he is trying to undermine Rhaenyra and still make his own claim to the throne. So I just like how they're laying out all these other conflicts. Like before, the episodes were kind of slow. We didn't really have a whole lot of strategy with the fighting because it was all about family and still trying to, find another way to solve the conflict. And now we're just full out in the part of the story where everyone is trying to take everyone else out for their own power.
Okay, okay. Malcolm, if you want to come up. But my favorite part was the dragons, guys. What are we talking about? What are we talking about right now? Come on now. The House of the Dragon. We got the dragons. We got Meleys. We got Vagar. We got Sunfire. Turn the dragons up. I told you on the last episode, the only motherfuckers ready for war, the only creatures ready for war were the dragons. Damon was ready, but we see how Damon's life is right now. Aemon was ready. We see how Aemon is handling his business right now. Rhaenyra, it was back. It was touch and go with her. Are you ready? Like you seem ready, but you're like, if we can arrive at peace, what did she say in this? I think it was this one, if it wasn't the last episode. I inherited 80 years of peace from my father. If I'm gonna, kind of end that, I want to know for sure. So I really love that line. But my favorite was just the dragons fighting, guys. That's why we're here. It's House of the Dragon. It's not House of Rhaenyra, House of Aemon, House of Daemon. It's not House of none of them. It's House of the Dragon, okay? And I love the tweets. There's so many tweets that I've bookmarked and I want to share. But my favorite part was definitely Meleys and Rhaenys turning up. Turn them up, okay? Turn Meleys up. Spoiler RIP. RIP Meleys. That's the way you go out. But I have a lot of qualms with Rhaenys' decision. That's, when you're ready for war and you're ready to crash out and be about something, you're Rhaenys. And if I send you a meme of Rhaenys, I'm ready to take it there. Please don't send me to war for you or for us or about that because I'm ready to go. And so is my dragon, which is just my alter ego. So that was my absolute favorite part. Kind of to your point about it being slow. I don't know if it's necessarily slow, but we've got a lot of built up kind of exposition. We've got a lot of lack of strategy. We've got a lot of chitter chatter for the last 3 episodes. Then, bam, episode 4, we turn all the way up with the dragons. We got High Valyrian all up and through that episode, and we got to realize that Aegon really not him. And that's a lie. We already knew that. We already knew Aegon's not really him. If you can't speak the mother tongue, well, and this is something that I really, really enjoyed, and Teach, you're going to go next. But this is something that I really enjoyed, guys, the language, the High Valyrian, the dragon kind of approach, the Daemon and, was it Aemond and Aegon at the seat, at the table. The reason why I love that was because that's actually what happens in real life. As a Latina, if you can't speak Spanish, people look at you crazy. If you live in an English speaking country and you can't speak the language or you make a mistake, everyone feels superior to you, right? You are seen as somebody that's not truly of the family, of the language, of the heritage, of the nation when you don't speak the mother tongue, the language. And so it was actually a really profound scene to me to show that, like, who really about that House of the Dragon. So go ahead, Teach.
I just want to point out, obviously, when they were pitch meetings happening and all the nerdy shit that happens behind the scenes, the tagline of the pitch meeting to make this a spinoff versus one of the 100 other stories in this universe is this is the dance of the dragons. We get to see dragons fight. We've seen dragons fighting humans. We saw that in Game of Thrones, and it took seasons and seasons to see it, but they knew to build up the story before we got that, and they did that effectively. Same thing here. We knew going into this series that we're going to see dragons fighting each other. We've never really seen that. And we got one scene of it to end the first season, which was very shocking, but it was in the dark. And so you don't get the full weight of it. So this is our first time where it is broad fucking daylight. And we are seeing these dragons. We're seeing the scale. We're seeing how Meleys was bigger than Dragonfire. What's the other golden whatever the hell that other dragon is
Sunfire,
called?
yeah.
Sunfire. So we're seeing Meleys is bigger than Sunfire, but then Vhagar pulls up, and Vhagar is 3 times as big as Meleys, and so we got to see the full scale and the real brutality of what these dragon fights are, not just in the air, but also as they come crashing down to the ground, and the kind of chaos that they can cause. And I really love the Valerian point, because when Aegon gets on the dragon, he's drunk, which is not smart, but also B, he can't speak Valerian. So the only command that he knows is Dracarys, and all of us know that command, and we've never lived one day in Westeros, and we know that word, but that's the only word that he knows. So if you watch the fight again, the other 2 dragons are doing other things. They're clawing, they're biting. These are things that they can be commanded to do because the riders know how to speak Valerian, whereas this guy is just button spamming. He just only got one button. He wasn't ready for war. He's lucky that he's not dead. But I know we're going to talk a lot about Aemon, and obviously he was trying to kill his brother. I think that goes without saying. But I think he was going to finish him off before Kristen Cole walked over there. I think he was about to finish him off. I think he realized I can kill one of their dragons, and I can get rid of this idiot that we have on the throne, and I can usurp him. That's killing 2 birds with one stone, no pun intended. I think that's what his goal was, and he was about to complete it if it wasn't for that crazy, scraggly Kristen Cole standing right there. He was about to kill his brother.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's really get into it. We don't need to talk about it. Let's get into it right now. Aegon been running around like he Pac. I know I defended him with the rat catcher thing, and to be honest, I'm standing on that. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm standing on the rat catcher thing. I'm not defending him as a whole because he's completely unfit to be a king. Honestly, I can't even. I'm over it. That being said, he been running around like he Pac, and this episode he got cooked. Literally, he got cooked multiple times. They was in this man's face in this episode. Aegon said, "Oh, you think it's funny that I entrust and find confidence, or confidant, whatever, in my sexual prowess is mostly just talking and pillow talking with a woman that I trust. Oh, that's funny to you." Okay. Alicent's like, "Oh, you think because you sit on the Iron Throne that you have any say, any power, any wisdom, any experience, any kind of, you're not serious. We don't take you seriously. You need way more people. You need to do your best, and your best is shutting up and doing nothing." Do you know that I would be ready to fight too, honestly? Don't get me no liquor. Do not get any liquor in my system after somebody tells me that we need you to do what you do best, which is sit down and shut up. Now, here's the thing. I love sitting down and being hot and shutting up in the presence of a man, but you can't say that out loud. You can't say that to me. That's disrespectful. And then I go and I have a shot of tequila. I'm absolutely getting on my dragon too. And I think it's a really good point, Tej. Is everyone hearing me? It's kind of like, is
We
this
hear you.
static?
You're
Everything's
good.
good. Okay, the video's kind of lagging for me, but that might be just me.
That's just Elon.
I hate her. Okay. The point with the High Valerian is so true, right? Because Meleys, shout out to the god. Meleys barely Dracarys. Like she turned up, Rhaenys turned up and said, "Hey, we are no stranger to battle, baby." I'm gonna start talking just like that, just so y'all know. Moving forward, if y'all try me, I am no stranger to this, okay? You're new here. I'm not new here. And Meleys was clawing. Meleys got bodies, quite frankly. She was out there. But Sunfire, please. the sweet baby, but so sorry that that is your guy's Aegon. And then Vagar, please. Okay, so let's talk about Vagar because I feel like y'all have really strong feelings about Vagar. I feel like y'all have really strong feelings about Vagar. Vagar has caught quite a few bodies under Aemond, one-eyed Aemond, and I want to hear why y'all feel so strongly about Vagar, who is huge. Not a very sexy dragon, but huge, dark, ominous, sinister. I love that. I love how all the dragons have their own kind of character and color and like mood. It's very much giving House of the Dragon. Jess, we haven't heard from you. Talk to me.
Yeah, man. Listen, first and foremost, pouring out for my girl Rhaenys. If I found out that my man had some kids outside of wedlock, I would crash out and go to war as well. I think she was ready for war, and I'm so sad about it. But we'll get there when we get there. Um, wow, Aemon is wild, and I just want to point out to everybody that terrible things happen to people that make fun of Aemon. I just want to let the record show and reflect. Like, I'm still team black, but I ain't messing with Aemon though. Like, he is that blue sapphire one-eyed demon is that is crazy. And I do absolutely agree with Teej. I think they were making it very clear that he was absolutely ready to kill his brother. And we'll see what happens because now, Team Green is down. They lost some dragons. The king is incapacitated. He's probably going to be needing some milk of the poppy for a few episodes now. I don't know if he's going to be in his right mind. Who knows what's going to be going on over there? But again, I just want to say one more time, if my husband had kids out of wedlock, I am crashing out at the dragon fight as well. And you're right. Mo Vagar is it's interesting, right? Because didn't Aemon steal that dragon from is that Bela? Wasn't that supposed to be one of the daughters? That dragon was actually supposed to be one of the daughters, and I think the ominous nature of that dragon would have looked very different if its rightful owner was able to, command that dragon. I think I just feel a way about the fact that that dragon was stolen from a black woman. So I'm just biased in general, but again, if Aemon is listening, hey man, do you? Okay, I don't want no beef. I don't want no smoke. Amen. You just robbed the black woman. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna leave that right there.
So
Um,
so your beef isn't with Vagar for real, it's with Aemon. Okay.
It's for
I
Amen. It's for Amen. You feel me?
okay.
You feel me, Mo? And the robbery, because I do believe I could have it wrong, but I do think that was supposed to be Baylor's dragon originally. But just in terms of the episode as a whole, and I'll land here and we can continue the conversation. This is what we watched. This whole mythology, this whole series, right? House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, all of it. This brought me back to all those years ago, because I honestly could not believe what I was seeing on screen. It also helped that I have like a 4K projector on my laptop and my TV, so I got to see it like in full blown chaos as the directors and the producers meant it to be seen. So when my girl was flying out of the air and her dragon looked back at her one time and unbuckled from the dragon, she just fell from the sky. Listen, a thug tear did fall, Mo. I will confess, a thug tear did fall. But the episode was great. And I'll land here. It should have been Christian Cole. Okay, it should have been Cole that got turned to dust. All right, I'm annoyed that he survived, but we'll see where we go from there.
The way that I cannot wait. Mm, mm, mm. We have foreshadowed Sir Kristen Cole's death. Mm, mm, mm. We have foreshadowed his death, and if I don't get that in season 2, we ride at dawn. I am riding with Vagar. I'm stealing Vagar back from Aemon, and I'm burning the cities up myself. Sir Kristen Cole got to go. He got to go. And honestly, we talked about this before too. The man has failed up again. He done failed up again. Hopefully there's some sort of accountability that Aegon was, you know, burnt to a crisp in the first place. But I just feel like, since we didn't see Aegon die on screen, there's some sort of, revival that's going to be done or some sort of preservation of his life. And I feel like they're going to give Sir Crystal the credit. And I just, maybe I'm just a hater. Maybe we're all just big haters. You wish you could fail up like Sir Kristen Cole, quite frankly. You
No,
wish.
no, no. He's whack. He's whack, Mo. I'm not. I'm
I,
not. No, we're not
I'm
doing
not.
the hater label on that. And Kendrick also made Hayden cool, so we're not doing that.
No,
We're not doing that.
he
He's whack.
did.
He's just whack.
He's super whack. And but that guy, boy, I tell you what, I wish I could fail as beautifully as that. That's I can't wait for him to die.
I feel like
Not
if
even
he was
really.
real, I feel like if he was real, he'd be a really vocal Drake fan if he was in real life. I don't know
This
why.
is this is what we watch. That we know who's not like us. Okay, it's clear. It's clear. Aegon ran around like he was Pac, making fun of everyone. And this is what happens. This is a good lesson on what happens when your hubris just overshadows your work that you need to do. Then you get burnt to a crisp by your own people. It be your own people, right? Was anyone shocked about Aemond doing what he did to Aegon? I personally was shocked. I allow myself to be shocked. I should not be shocked. The lore of this Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon lets you know that you should never be shocked that anybody dies. But I was like this. I said, oh, and furthermore, it was less about being shocked that he killed Aegon and more about being shocked that he did not care to kill Rhaenys and Meleys. He was like, we're good. Did what I needed to do. And we got the shots where Rhaenys was watching this happen. Why did Rhaenys and Meleys go back?
She crashed
Why
out,
did
Mo. I'm
she?
telling you, she crashed out.
She had to crash out. And that's unfortunate. You know, she said, "Oh my gosh," to that man's son. She's like, "Oh my god, beautiful skin. Must be from your mother, because it isn't from my white ass. That wouldn't. No, your skin wouldn't look like that if I was your mother." Mm. Go ahead, Barbara. What's your actual name? Y'all keep laughing at me.
Jazz.
What's your name?
Yeah, it's Jasmine. But for the part about Rhaenys not retreating, I think she had a feeling that they would have used one of the dragons to try to follow her back, and they would have gotten back to Dragonstone or wherever Rhaenyra is hiding out. Like if they thought it was another scouting mission, like in the last episode, they would have just, since they had a dragon to spare, they would have ended up back in the main spot, and their whole cause would have kind of fallen apart. But as far as Aegon actually going out there, I think that whatever happens to him is actually going to work in Team Green's favor because he was willing to put his body on the line, and they're going to be able to do like a little PR campaign and spend that into him being dedicated to his cause while Rhaenyra was hiding out somewhere, basically not being willing to fight with her people. Um,
Yeah, and they gave Sir Kristen Cole the "Your king is joined battle," blah 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 blah. Yeah, all right, we get it, bro. So I mean, I was just so excited to see that. To me, Team Black is doing really really well. It was so scary to see everyone kind of, volunteer to go and take a dragon over there and kind of see how it played out with Team Green led by Sir Kristen Cole. And I think it was really really that scene at the council with Rhaenyra was very, very, very important because we saw who's willing to step up, who's ready. We see that Team Black is finally ready for war. We are dragons, and everyone's on edge. Everyone's anxious. Everyone is like, okay, um, if we don't use our dragons first, they're going to use their dragons first. So let's talk about Damon, because I shared some tweets, and please go through the tweets. I've shared 12 posts or 11 posts. Let's talk about Damon, because the Sydney Sweeney comparison in Euphoria to Damon is actually brilliant. It's perfect. My worlds collide. I love the Harrenhal exposition. I love their Harrenhal introduction. I love how we are like blossoming from that kind of I'm gonna go take Harrenhal, right? Because I told y'all that Damon was one of the weakest links. Y'all didn't listen to me. I told y'all Damon is not a serious person, and he is so wrapped up in himself that he will walk in ready for war and don't nobody even want to fight you, bro. That, you know how crazy it is to be ready to fight and everybody's kind of looking at you like, you got it. The power struggle within him, the way he's going crazy is just, it's so concerning, right? Teach, go ahead. Talk to me about, let's be serious about Damon for 2 seconds, Teach. Go ahead.
I think, first of all, I think it was very. I think the scene with him and that woman was very well written. I think at one point she says that she's a barnyard owl, which I don't think she was kidding about. I think that she actually is an animal because if you watch the Harrenhal scenes and a couple of them, the animals in the scene are like there was a black sheep in one of the scenes last week. They're like always staring at Damon when he's having these thoughts or these dreams that he's having. And I just think that he is confronting the worst version of himself and not in a good way. You know, we've heard from other characters that Harrenhal is cursed. Everybody, since they built it on top of those weirwood trees, pretty much everybody who has ever sacked the castle has met a very ill-fated end because the castle was cursed. And so he's in there living his worst life and not helping anyone do anything. And he's trying to round up all these smaller families from the seat of Harrenhal, and he's not getting it done. And it's real wartime. We've got dragons that are dead. Meanwhile, Team Green are taking castles. Now you could say that they're not the biggest castles, and you know the battle where where we have our big dragon fight is a tiny castle, but it matters because of its geography. And so, just Damon being basically off the board for these last 2 episodes has been very entertaining for the viewer. But it's like you got to get in the game, brother. Like the game is on. Rhaenys, rest in peace, was a very strong person for Team Black. Not to mention the fact that we also lost Maelys, who obviously got that dog in her because we saw it. So those are massive, massive losses, and it takes me back to the scene where we're with the Black Council again, and these niggas are squabbling for power yet again. And Corlys had to come in there and lay the law down, like y'all niggas are wilding, y'all are scrapping for power. We need to be united as one because we can't be a nasty team like Team Green. Our team chemistry has to be better than this. And he shut it down. Y'all not gonna talk to my wife like that. I am a bit sad that we didn't get like a goodbye scene between Corlys and Rhaenys because that relationship has been amazing. But the last scene we see of them is when she's saying that Alan doesn't deserve to live in the shadows because obviously Alan is the bastard son of Corlys, and she's saying no, like don't treat him like Jon Snow, don't treat him like Catelyn was treating Jon Snow, treat him like one of your own. And I like that we got that scene, but I would have really loved at least a small goodbye scene because anytime you're going to war, there's always a chance that you could die. So, and we've already seen Corlys already die last season. So I would have liked to get a goodbye there. And I know my guy Corlys is going to be messed up. I know he's going to be emotionally hurt. So hopefully Alan and his daughters can help him see his way through this grief. But it was a big loss for Team Black, and I think that's going to matter a lot that you lose somebody who had their head on straight in Rhaenys, and she was a great character, but also a big loss.
I agree. It's very important. They heard us talking in these last episodes. No one had no strategy. No one was going forward. No one was about that action. No one was respecting Rhaenyra, right? And I think that's a great point to highlight at this time. Rhaenyra is the queen, and if we don't support her, on the throne in this war, then this war is pointless, right? We damn near committed treason in episode 2. And she was like, thank goodness you didn't take it any further because you know what happens when you commit high treason. So we're here because of that. And Rhaenyra somehow can't get Team Black to respect her. And we saw that through her conversations with Daemon specifically. But even when we're at those council meetings or whatever you want to call it, everyone's kind of like, hey, Rhaenyra's just a girl. You're just a girl. You're just a young girl. You're just a young, sweet girl, and we need to protect you. And she's like, yo. And that's why we got the scene where Rhaenys pulled up and is like, first of all, what we not gonna do is act like women don't be out here, okay? Because the rest of y'all sent Daemon out there not doing nothing about nothing. He's done nothing about nothing. He's having schizophrenic hallucinations. Who knows what's happening to him over there? He's got a dragon. Who knows why he's got the dragon? What's going on? We have no idea what's going on over there. Let me go and handle this. We are no stranger to battle. And then we get Corlys that is like, yeah, and also y'all not gonna talk to my wife like that, which is just reflective in general of like resetting the hierarchy and the power struggle there. We are not about to act like women are not in power right now. So it was like a very feminist scene to me when the allyship of the men came in, Corliss specifically, right? And now he's lost his wife because of it. And I find it interesting that you were kind of lacking that goodbye scene, because that's true. We should have gotten a goodbye scene, but we probably didn't get the goodbye scene because that would have been even more evident that Rhaenys was going to die. I thought that Rhaenys was going to live, but I thought she was going to be super mangled up. And we got those moments because the writers knew that the viewers were going to be like, okay, turn Rhaenys and Meleys up, and she's flying off. She's flying off. She didn't have to do much to kill Aegon. Aemon took care of that for her. But then there was something in her, and it was like I'm really interested in like what you guys think was going through her mind, because Jess, I agree with you. I think it was probably part of like the family structure with Corliss and things she had just realized. But I think even without that, Rhaenys is just, her and her dragon are one. They both got that dog in them. And let me make a point. Let me make a stand when I go and I fight this war. I'm not about to let Aemon take this W for me. I'm not about to go back and be like, hey, guys, so I went and I kind of maimed everybody, but you wouldn't believe this, but Aemon Dracarys Aegon. And so, guys, I don't know, guys, but clearly Team Green is going through it. She was like, no, I'm finna make a stance. Like, you finna see some shit. We finna fuck some shit up. And she did that. So I shared a tweet that says, if Rhaenys listened to Daemon, the war would be over already. How do we feel about that? Scroll over. I think it's the third tweet I shared. If Viserys listened to Daemon about Otto, none of it would have happened in the first place. I would have a breakdown, too, if my family was dying because nobody ever listens to me. How do we actually feel about that? Because in a way, they're not wrong, but I'm not going to give Daemon too much, because Daemon wasn't acting and speaking out of care for his family. He was acting out of spite. So that's my perspective on that. Teach, go ahead.
One, I think it's very sad that we lost that character, and she doesn't even get to be notified or told that her son is actually not dead. I'm assuming that they made that change from the books to keep the son alive, partially so that Rhaenyra didn't look like the worst person in the world, but also because we're going to reintroduce that character at some point. But now we've lost Rhaenys, and she didn't even know that her son was alive. And two, I don't think that her actions in that fight had anything to do with the scene with Alan. I don't think that she was like, well, I would, if I was in a good mood, I would ride off and go save myself. But since my husband was on some bullshit, literally 20 years ago. Like, Alan is a grown man. Alan is like 25, 30 years old. Like, he is
Alan is
grown as
36
hell.
years old.
Like, he,
Alan is 36 years old.
it's one thing
Okay?
if he was a
With good
toddler,
skin.
he's grown. So I don't think that and her willingness to accept Alan into the family structure shows me that I don't think that she was that so upset about that it made her stay in the battle longer. I think she got that dog in her, and I think she don't back down. And I think that she's already once been in a situation where I had y'all, I had all y'all niggas, and I didn't pull the trigger. And I think she said, this time we gonna get it out the mud. And if I could get Vega out of here, the war might be over tonight. The war might be over tonight. So I'm not backing down. I have a dragon that's about that life. Meleys has no fear in her, and I'm about to get Vhagar the fuck out of here because she been running around. Vhagar is a girl, and she been running around crazy. She been running around like she Pac, and we got to get her out of here. And so I just think she was resolute in her decision that I'm either winning or I'm dying. There are only two ways out of this beef. I'm gonna win or I'm going to die, and I gotta respect her for that.
I agree. you know, get the king or die trying. It's Rhaenys Curtis Jackson the third. Honestly, this is what I'm talking about. And when we see, I think this is going to be kind of not resurrection. What kind of word do I want to use? Like she's going to galvanize this. Everything that happened is going to galvanize Team Black. I believe this. When you take L's, either you fall flat on your ass or you get back up again and you go even harder. And I think because of this massive loss, even though it doesn't seem like that at first, even though Rhaenys was like the third woman or the third person and a woman to speak up when it was like, who's going to go and meet them people with some fire breathing dragons? the loss is going to be felt more than it was expected. And I think that's going to really kind of flip the switch for Team Black. Rhaenyra is not going back down now. She just lost Rhaenys. Corlys is not going back down now. He just lost Rhaenys. Rhaenyra cares about her dragons deeply. She got 3 eggs out on the trail right now. You just lost a dragon as well. So like Team Green is going to feel like they're up, especially Sir Kristen ill, especially Alicent's brother also ill, but I like him more than Sir Kristen Cole because I need Sir Kristen Cole to take some sort of L at some point in his life. Will someone please hand Sir Kristen a couple of L's, preferably in the death form, because I needed to be swift and sweet and beautiful. Maybe it doesn't have to be swift. Let him be tortured a la Ramsay Bolton. I don't know what's going on. I know that's a sick thing to say. That's what I want for Sir Christian Cole. I don't care. Um, Shout out Game of Thrones. But I think this episode is so important, not just because of the dragon scene, even though that was my favorite, but because now there is no turning back. There is no kind of like retreat. There's no kind of like that's what we said in the last episode, right? This war has begun. Alicent said it. It's way too late to try to make things to try to, address my mistakes, to try to make things different now. We are here and we are going in right now. Okay, and everybody that's got a dragon is about to turn up, and that's what I like. That's why we're here. So go ahead, Barbara or Jess. Okay, I see your hand up, Matt. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. That was at the same time there. Yeah, so I want to go back to the whole if they had listened to Damon, they would be better off from the start. And I think
Sweet.
that's like a case of the right message, wrong messenger. Because if what we've learned about Damon is that he's like Terrell Owens, he loves him some him, right? Like he's not he might have the right message, but everyone is rightfully questioning his motives, and he also has a reputation of taking gambles and being a hothead. At the same time, you have them constantly reminding us of A Song of Ice and Fire, which makes everyone a little bit crazy because you immediately think about how bad season 8 was of Game of Thrones. But there's a point in all this is that these dragons are not just like, they're not pets. They're the Westerosi equivalent of, like you were talking about, once you do this, there's no turning back. It's like launching nuclear weapons. And that's the closest thing they have in this world. And I think when it comes to Rhaenys, right, when she made that decision, I don't really think it was about Corlys because it seemed much more understanding when she was talking about his illegitimate son at the docks. It was more like this is an open secret, a thing that we dealt with decades ago. Doesn't mean she loves it, but it's something that, like, they've come to terms with, they're at peace with. And she was saying kind of like that's why there wasn't a goodbye. The goodbye was I've made peace with your past, so to speak. And so not only is she launching the nuke in the sense that she's going out there on the dragon, but once you fired that shot, there's one coming back towards you, and you're taking yourself off the chessboard also. So now she's gone. And she was probably like the black team is not really a team. They're just a bunch of people who kind of agree on like who should be the queen. And that's all they really agree on. So now you have one of the most important and like most trusted advisors gone. Your dragon, one of the most important dragons, is gone because Vagar's raggedy ass is still out there and just got another easy win. It's like watching Giannis injure an opposing stars, best player, and then celebrating the win after. I'm like, yo, that feels cheap. I don't love this. Where am I going with this? I agree that they're going to definitely. I think they're going to rally around because now they have no choice. But I think Damon also is kind of like going to come back from this realizing that he needs to fall in line because he can't just he's basically chasing his tail, chasing demons. He's going after a goal that's never going to happen. And I think that's what the witch is trying to show him. And she was very much like the one from Game of Thrones who told Cersei the prophecy. They really nailed that. But I think it's going to be him coming back with maybe kind of like a new outlook, like, okay, I'm over it. I'm not as involved with myself as I was before. And then now they're going to finally be able to like be on the same page for once because that's been their weakness since day one.
I like the way you said that. I love the NBA player, comparisons. I don't know if you were in the last space, but Damon out here like he Luca right now. I think we made some other like, very much Luca 2023, 2024 season. Like you didn't win the championship. You're not. It's okay. You got exposed, but I think, Tej also made the point a couple of episodes ago that we're going to get our Super Bowl, and our Super Bowl is actually Aemond and Damon. And I just love how we're building up to that. But I really like what you said about Team Black, and I want to take it a step further. Team Black isn't really a team, and you're so right. They don't agree on who should be queen, but they agree on who should not be king. And that's their only glue that they have. That's it. They're just like, I don't really know what's going on, but I know that we can't let Aegon cook. That's all I know.
It's like the
And everyone
Democrats.
and everyone on that team is like, I don't like your idea. Well, I don't like your idea. Well, I don't think women should rule. Well, I don't think that you know what you're talking about. And I think I'm better than you. And it's just a bunch of people that really only agree on one thing, and that it's that it should not be Aegon. They have no idea who it should be. No one takes Rhaenyra seriously. And I can't wait till Rhaenyra turns up, because Rhaenyra has a dragon, right? I'm not tripping, right? Rhaenyra technically has all of the
Yeah, she has
dragons,
a
but
direct.
Rhaenyra, she has a dragon. I want every episode, 5, 6, 7, and 8, to have a bunch of dragons going at it. I want every dragon. I gave y'all homework and y'all didn't do your homework, so I'm putting y'all on the spot. Before we close this space out today, we got a little bit more time, but I need you guys to rank your favorite characters. I told y'all you're gonna rank the favorite characters. I told y'all mine. I'll put the clip up later. What we watch, please remember to put the clip up of the fact that it's the dragons, the cobblestone, the castles, lots and lots of space, and then it's the three characters that I will at least give a little bit to. But now I think I made it easier for you guys. Now that we're on episode 4, I made it a little easier for you guys to choose a favorite character. But I want to go ahead and let Deb's wise thoughts speak. Go ahead. Welcome to What We Watch Wednesday.
Hey, thank you so much. I just wanted to respond to to Matt. I think the one thing that, and I'm making a huge assumption here, but I think the one thing people just remember, really a good general either. Like the first season, he and Corlys went to war with someone who didn't really have like a cohesion army, and like it took them months, if not years, to kill the crab eater, or the crab feeder, I think is what his name was. And then when he was leading the Gold Cloaks, like he made these very irrational decisions, then didn't check with anybody. So I can understand why, if you make suggestions, people are always kind of like, yeah, no, you don't have a history of making just like sound decisions when it comes to these things. So there's that. And then I think with Rhaenys, honestly, I think she was just tired. Like, I think she was just like, yo, my daughter is dead. My favorite daughter is dead. My two granddaughters have been sent away. Like, what am I going back to Dragonstone for? Like, let's just wrap this all up and see what happens with me and Vagar and Meleys. So I think that was actually a big part of her reasoning for going back, aside from her being like brave and all that. So.
No, absolutely, right? A true warrior is what you just described, right? It's been a bunch of this. It's been a bunch of chatter this whole time from both teams. Rhaenys is like, I am here to protect and serve the queen. Okay, a real soldier, okay, a real warrior, a real dragon rider. Okay, here's what I'm here to do. I'm here to make my mark. I'm here to fuck some shit up. I'm here to burn some stuff to the ground. I'm here to use dragon claws. I'm here to use, Tej, I love the way you said it. He pressing buttons. He like me on Tekken, and I want some. All right, I want some on Tekken, but he like me on Tekken. I'm just like, let's see what I'm finna press. That's how Aegon is on that dragon. Meanwhile, Aemon is like, wait, okay, I know I talked to Sir Kristen Cole about this, but this don't look like what I planned. So let me just wait and do my own thing. Rhaenys was the only one that had a plan, stuck to it, had a strategy. Okay, she is the only one that was like, hey, this is what we're about, and this is what we're gonna do. And it really is. I agree, you guys. I don't think, as we're talking about this even more, I think that what happened with her and Corlys was beautiful, quite frankly. I think it was less about the son, or the less about like her life values. It was more about, here's what I'm here to do, and I know my purpose. And now that I know that my husband has met his son, I know that his grieving process will be different. Maybe it'll bring them closer together. As we're talking about this, I'm like, that's probably what that scene signified, because what else did it signify? I think it was like a piece that she showed and had within herself that if I do die, my husband will not be alone, and he deserves to be close to his children. And I've lost a lot of my children already, and I'm here to mess things up. So I really appreciated that. That is what we watch. That is real romance. Okay? To consider your partner in death is real romance. To consider that we are here at war and there is no turning back. So while the men are chattering, the women are getting stuff done. Let me say that again. While the men are chattering, think about the messiest bitch you know. It's a man. Think about the messiest bitch you know. It's a man on team black and it's a man on team green. Okay? Meanwhile, women are like, let's get some stuff done because y'all doing too much of this. It's too much of this. Go ahead, Travis. Welcome to the stage. Welcome to What We Watch.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. This is awesome. I have some pushback for the queen that never was. Listen, yeah, I just don't feel like um, what we got was enough. I'm actually not happy. I wasn't happy with what I read pertaining to the character. I wasn't happy to watch it. Honestly, it was just like I was hoping for more. I really do feel like she gave up, and that to me um is just it was sad because I don't know if I'm accumulating the part of knowing that she wanted to be queen, believe she should be queen. Granted, yes, she did fulfill her duty, but to what end and to what extent? I'm curious to know, like, the thoughts not only in this panel, but like how everybody else received it. And I saw the timeline and how everybody was like, went out in a blaze of glory. But I just was like, did she really fight the hardest? Did she really truly fight as hard as she could? I just don't believe so. And because of that, I think when you go into battle, kind of ready to die, you will. And that's pretty much what I got. And I'm not happy about it. I love the character so much, and I'm sad at the way she went out. It was I'm not gonna forgive her. I'm not.
I respect. You know what you're going through right now. I respect it. You're grieving right now, and I quite frankly, I respect it. I respect it. I wanted you to do better. I wanted you to do better, Rhaenys. I wanted more from you. You deserve to be alive. Maelys, you deserve to be alive. Y'all are no stranger to battle, meaning this little chitter chatter, this little playground shit, y'all should have ate that up and went right back onto Dragonstone and delivered the messages that needs to be delivered. You're grieving, and I'm with you. I respect it. I respect that a lot. I'm with you. Because if y'all look at the tweet that I shared, what did Aemon really do? Nothing. You were fighting a grown ass woman that has been alive twice as long as you have on a dragon that's also very old and no stranger to battle. My favorite line. Has to be my favorite line of the episode. And you struggled, Eamon. You struggled. I, if I'm Team Black, if I'm Rhaenyra, tell me what your next move is if you're Rhaenyra. Because if I'm Rhaenyra, I'm seeing the holes. I'm seeing the weaknesses, and I'm diving at the heart every time. I'm going straight for the heart. I made that entire sentence up. Diving at the heart. That's what I'm doing. Every time because it's so clear. I sent one woman and one dragon, and y'all are struggling. Y'all tried to kill each other. I didn't have to do too much. So I respect it. I respect because really Rhaenys and Meleys didn't really get to turn up, even though they were ready to turn up, even though they could have turned up. Aemon came in here and was like, I hate my brother. And it's like, oh wow, another person hates their brother. Wow. Oh, so groundbreaking. So yeah, Angela, welcome to the stage. Talk to us.
Hey, listen, Aemon is just not ready for this, bro. Not Aemon, Aegon. Aegon is just not ready for this. And like I genuinely again, I just go back to how much I hate Allison, bro. Because Aegon got, and granted, we all know Rhaenyra was Viserys's favorite. Like we all know, we've seen the footage, we've seen the tape. But Viserys did not train them kids for shit. Like Allison's kids, literally did. Aegon can't even speak Valyrian, bro. Like, what are we doing here? What, like, why are we playing these games? Allison, look what you've done. Look what you've caused. And just another thing, and I was really thinking about these past like few days because I was listening to some of the audiobook as I was driving to Phoenix. And it really sucks that like we know that a lot of this is for nothing because we know how Game of Thrones ended. So like we know the Targaryen dynasty's dead, right? Because they made Dany like I don't even know what they did to that character. But like we know the Targaryen, we know Jon Snow does not even recognize that he has that like blood in him. So like another part of me also feels sad because I'm like, we are watching this knowing that not shit, like this amounts to nothing in the end game. Like their bloodline is dead. Like, and it makes me really sad. And also I just want to shout out to Rhaenys for being a good wife to her husband's side kids. That's a good woman. R.I.P. She should have been queen. She really should have.
Now, turn that up. Turn that up. I don't know if y'all heard Angela. Rhaenys should have been queen. Turn that up. Honestly, a real soldier, a real warrior. And you know it's true, but there's a peculiar there's a very peculiar enjoyment that I get from knowing how this ends. And here's why. Because every time someone makes a dumb decision, I'm like, well, that's why we're here. I'm like, here you go, another dumbass motherfucker. That's exactly why your house fell. Every time Allison opens her mouth, I'm like, that's exactly why your house fell. That's why we ain't got no dragons now. That's why Daenerys, is it Daenerys? Had to come in and take care of stuff. This is why. Every time I'm looking at it, I'm like, yes, we know exactly how it ends. Bran the Broken ends up running stuff. Because this is how y'all wanted to act. This is crazy to me. Honestly, and y'all let this slide, and maybe we let this slide as what we watch. I feel more strongly now. Rhaenyra should have never gone to Alicent. I don't care. I love it for television. Rhaenyra should have never gone to Alicent. I don't think that's in the book. And Rhaenyra should have never gone to Alicent. Because, turn that up, Angela. Alicent has never in her life for 2.5 seconds been a serious person. I lied. I lied to you. I lied to you. She had one real line. We gotta give it to the characters even if we hate them. She had one real line, and that was to tell Aegon. But here's the thing. It's two fools fighting. It was two fools fighting across that table. Two bird-ass fools fighting across the table, and one person got one up on the other bird. It was two birds fighting. Aegon sitting there looking like a dumb bird. Alicent looking like a useless bird. Just two birds pickering at each other. That was the realest 2.5 seconds of Alicent's entire adulthood. Okay, she's never been more serious than when she told her son, baby boy, be quiet, stop. We don't need you. And I'm gonna cook her on this too, because she should have said that 3 episodes ago. Okay, so don't start to look at your son crazy because you thought the Song of Ice and Fire met your son. You knew your son was like this. So yeah, Angela, I agree. We're in this position because of you, baby girl. And I need you to shut up and do nothing. I need you to you have done so much without doing nothing at all that it's actually quite impressive. I'm actually very impressed how you have done nothing at all and caused so much. You are the reason House of Targaryen fell. Everything else is just Everything else is just a byproduct of your uselessness. Alicent, I'm cooking you again. I cannot stand you. You are top 3 worst characters of this entire storyline. I cannot stand you. And now you are acting like this. I know you acting like this with your T-bortion, okay? Shout out to abortion rights. All right, your body, your choice.
Plan T.
Okay, that being said, Plan T, your T-bortion. That being said, that was the second smartest decision you made, was aborting a child that you should never had in the first place, because you should never been dealing with Sir Kristen Cole, because you should have been protecting your grandchildren. Okay. You should have been protecting your grandchildren, Alicent. Okay. And now you run around like you run stuff. And the only reason that you feel so like you're a big dog is because you haven't been having sex. The only reason why you got this pent up energy now is because your man is at war right now. We don't believe you. You need way more people. We don't. We're. Not, I'm not. If me personally, if I'm Aegon, and I would never be because Aegon could never relate. He could never be me. But if I'm Aegon, I'm throwing some in her face. I'm fighting Allison right there. Mom, I will have you beheaded if you ever talk crazy to me again like that. I am your king. You go back to having sex with Sir Kristen Cole or whoever you're doing at this point. Who knows? Because part of the reason why we didn't want Rhaenyra in charge was because she was too slutty. I don't see any difference between you and her right now, outside of you are just way more of a bird. So I like that. Turn that up. Let's turn up on Alicent, quite frankly. Alicent's not serious. Daemon's not serious. How do we feel about Rhaenyra? Is Rhaenyra fit to be queen? We know that Viserys feels that way. But do you feel that way? Tej, how do you feel if Rhaenyra were to sit on the Iron Throne? Is that something that we have a peaceful, good, successful kingdom?
No, am I including my thoughts on her treatment of her black stepkids in this calculus or no?
Yes.
Well, then I would have to say that the way that she's treating her black stepkids would be a big red flag for me personally. But I think outside of that, she is qualified to be the queen, but she's got to do better at getting a better team around her. And I know that the team around her right now are just people who happen to be supporting her, which is not the biggest number in the world because Aegon has all the symbols of legitimacy. He's got Aegon the Conqueror's armor. He's got the dagger, right? He's got all this shit that signifies that you are the king, you are him. So it's going to be hard to get people on her side. But obviously, her team is being run poorly. And at the end of the day, that falls on you, baby girl. You have to make sure that the people around you understand your authority and understand your power and know that they answer to you. And they should be scared to be running around killing babies in your name and all that shit. They should live in fear of that stuff, and they don't. So I have some knocks on her. I think that she's the most qualified person that we have, especially now that Rhaenys is gone, who was probably the most qualified person to be on the throne. I think that she's the most qualified person that we might have, and that's not saying much, given the group of losers that we are dealing with now. But yeah, I think that she has got some chops and she could be the queen. But I think she's really got to learn from these hard lessons that she's learning. You got to get your shit together.
Are you calling Rhaenyra LeBron in last year the Lakers or LeBron in the Cavs?
No,
Who are you?
see, the Lakers, no matter what happened, did not have enough talent to win a championship. I think Team Black has enough talent to win the championship. They just need a better coach and a better system. So I would compare them to something more like, say, the Dallas Mavericks, who had enough to make a finals run, but it was clear early on that they were outmatched, outcoached, out everything. And so they just need to make some improvements on the fringes and maybe they can make a finals run.
So if Damon is Luca, then who is Rhaenyra?
I think Damon is Kyrie. I think Rhaenyra is Luca, but she's falling out of games and she can't keep her weight down, and so we gotta get that together. But obviously she's the most talented. Damon is Kyrie or somebody else because Damon is not a serious individual. He never has been. He never will be.
You a sick individual, you know that?
Okay, go ahead, Jess. Talk to me.
That's crazy. First and foremost, right now, Damon is Kawhi Leonard, okay, with a swollen knee, unable to play for nobody, losing his mind right now in a haunted harem. He is talented but unavailable. That man is big Kawhi Leonard with the Clippers right now. But I want to actually go back real quick to Angela's original point about Team Green and Allison's lack of preparation. Um, Her babies can barely even speak High Valerian, but this brings me again to why I'm not messing with Aemon because both of those boys were in that High Valerian class. Okay, I don't think it's so much of a thing of what Allison didn't necessarily prepare. The bloodline and all these things. I think there was preparation. I think they were in those classes, but Aegon clearly was not paying attention. Okay, he sits in the council hall and says, "Y'all bore me." And I actually like the writing and how they use the language of High Valerian to actually display, the character of a lot of these men and women because of course Aemon is spitting fluent High Valyrian, embarrassing his brother like in front of everybody. And when the captions kind of like broke down what Aegon was trying to say, I chuckled. I had a big laugh. But I think that was more so used to represent the fact that like Aegon is clearly not ready for this, right? But Aemon, despite Alicent's, deficiencies as a mom, and the fact that this whole thing, all like what she did by taking Rhaenyra's kingdom and that crown under a lie, right? Misunderstanding the Song of Ice and Fire. I think that scene spoke to so much, and I'm fascinated to see where it all ends, right? Because I do also find it interesting when you go back to Game of Thrones and you realize how it all ends. I think, of course, dumb decision after dumb decision that can all feel meaningless. And for Team Green, it definitely feels like it's all leading to, is it Larys, like the weirdo with the medieval wiki feet like fetish? He's clearly gonna end up being the hand of whoever
Sicko.
ends up on that throne. He's gonna clearly end up running Team Green into the ground, because nobody is ready. Nobody's ready for this at all. Um, and I do think, to answer your question, Mo, I feel good about Rhaenyra. I think I do like the fact. I'll push back a little bit on the fact that I like that she went to speak to Allison, right, under the cover of night as a nun or whatever that was. And even when she came back and her son was trying to give her some vim, Jacaerys, I think, was trying to give her some attitude, and he was rolling his eyes and, where was you at? You know what I'm saying? Well, we were shooting in the gym. Where was you? Where was you? And she looked back at him and said, "Being a queen, little boy? Are you dumb?" I had to make sure that when we launched these nuclear weapons called dragons, that was our last option. And I actually appreciated that, right? Because it speaks to how much better of a queen and a ruler she actually would be if she had her rightful place. And so I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it at all, because now, when we venture through the rest of the season, and she gets the news that she's lost a really valiant, like, confidant and leader. Because yeah, I do agree that Rhaenys is like a big chess piece off the board for Team Black. I'm sad about it. One of the best dragons and one of the best confidants and just characters as well. Um, but I think, the way that Rhaenyra is thinking through what her next steps would be, and to even double back and look Alice in her eyes and say, like, what really happened? What did my father say? What are you on for real? Can we find peace here as women with a bit more common sense than the men around us? What can we really do with this, And unfortunately, it didn't go the way that she was hoping that it would have gone. And she now has her confirmation that yes, it has to get bloody. We have to get dragons. We have to say some Dracarys is up in here. This is really what it's going to be. And I like that she didn't go into it like very flippantly, right? Or just filled with emotion. I like that she at least tried. And so I'm looking forward to where this is gonna go. Because like you already said, and I do agree. At least I hope that it's correct, because I haven't read the books, that Super Bowl, right? When Kawhi Leonard comes off the injury list, okay, when Damon comes out of Harrenhal and is ready to deal with Aemon, that Damon and Aemon battle is definitely going to be like a exciting night of television that I'm very much looking forward to. Um, and hey, man, listen, Team Black, it's Team Black over here.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. And if you don't know by now, I'm a sports girly. So we're going to continue to make these references, quite frankly. I'm a sports girly. We might need to get into college football references just so that I can really talk my shit. But to be honest with you, I'm sorry, but you guys have been with me on what we watch for 4 years now. You have seen the growth, you have seen the discussions, and you know me very well. And quite frankly, you know that I'm going to villain apologist this 100% of the time. And this isn't even a villain apology type of comment that I'm about to make. This is about where all roads lead. And I think the more I see Keeping Up with the Targaryens, because that's exactly what we're watching, just so you know. We are watching Keeping Up with the Targaryens because we already know what's about to happen to this unserious family. This is an unserious family. And the moments where we get a little bit of seriousness, we hang on to it, we cling to it. Because if this was a reality TV show, the confessional little shots would be hilarious. Okay? Rhaenyra would be talking crazy. Damon would be talking crazy. Aemon would have been let us know. He brought in all them people to come talk shit about me. I got something for his ass. And that would have been the confessional right there. We're watching Keeping Up with the Targaryens. But I say that to say, as the episodes go on, I don't know, Rhaenyra. I don't like that you went over there, but here's why. Let me be clear about why I don't like it. Because you should have killed Alicent. Okay, that's all. You should have killed Alicent. Alicent needs to be dead, bro. She needs to be dead. It's enough. It was enough of her. 2 episodes ago, we'd had enough. Allison should have died. That knife moment, we should have went ahead and finished that one off. Okay, I need Rhaenyra to turn up, but again, we see her character development, right? Which is why we love the show. We love Keeping Up with Targaryens because we see the character development, we see the strife, we see the grief, we see the goals of each character, right? And Rhaenyra is like, I've inherited 80 years of peace. Me personally, I inherit 80 years of peace. That's fine. I'm gonna make this 1 year a complete lack of peace. It's all war. It's all war over here because y'all done tried me. I don't care how many years of peace you give me. Okay? I don't care. I'm gonna make the year 81, we going to war because they tried me. Dad, they tried me. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to tell you. So that's the I don't know, guys. The more this goes on, I'm like, Rhaenyra, you should have You should Allison don't need to be here. Sir Kristen Cole and Allison, thank God. Again, abortion rights. 100% of the time. And since she made the choice, I can say this very clearly. I'm so glad you made that choice. We do not need a baby of Allison and Sir Kristen Cole. The child is destined for complete bullshit. The child is destined to be nothing. The Targaryen family would fall quicker. So I'm so glad women, were able to do what they needed to do. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think I've said enough. Ew.
And that's
I,
gonna come back to haunt her, by the way, because she had creepy wiki feet guy just straight up looking at the container with the abortion tea. Like he peeped that. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but he
of
absolutely
course.
peeped that she had a gut full of Christian Cole and was trying to get rid of that thing. And that's gonna come back to haunt her absolutely. I'm
We
gonna leave it that right
always
there.
have a gossiper, a chit chatter, a Lord Baelish, of whatever his name is, a lyrist. I don't even think that was Lord Baelish the Whisperer in Game of Thrones necessarily.
That was Chaos is a
It
ladder.
was
This was
Bears.
Varys.
That was Bears,
Uh,
yeah.
whoever it was, yeah. So we always have that one motherfucker that's really the messy bitch that lives for drama. And as I've already said this, and I'll say it again, it's always a man. Notice how they've never had a woman of whispers. Okay, there's
Uh,
never been a woman.
Miss Arya is Master of Whispers right now. You can't say
Okay, okay, that's true. That's true. And look how she's done way more for the community and for the kingdoms than these messy men. Okay,
that's true.
I'm gonna just leave it at that. But go ahead, Angela. I want you to say what you need to say because this is Keeping Up with the Targaryens. Let's see what you got.
So first, I just again want to credit the acting in the show because like it takes real acting for you to hate a character. Like and, like the fact that like we watch this show almost every week and there's like 4 or 5 people we consistently hate is just kudos to the actors.
And
The kid who
four
plays
of those
Aemon,
people
who
are Allison. 4 of those 5 people are
yeah,
Allison. Go ahead.
but like the kid who plays Aemon, I think is like the actor who played Doctor Who. I think that's his son or something like that. So it's just like just real acting is involved. And secondly, to bring it back to sports, I would say I think at this point, Aemon is sort of the Colt McCoy, right?
How dare you?
He's we see him cooking, but I don't know if it's gonna end up in his
Whoa!
favor. So
What's going on
so
here?
let's just, I'm just bringing this back to sports so we
That
can
is
all
so
relate
nasty.
to it?
This is
So
nasty.
yeah.
Teach, do something.
First of
Please.
all, I'm not even going to acknowledge Angela's hate because that's a Miami fan and they haven't won the ACC championship literally ever. So first of all, we're not going to talk about Miami. Second of all, I want to acknowledge a black man that knows how to keep a job because when the maester walked in on Allison, knowing what the hell she was doing, Allison asked him, "Hey, do you think that my dad, or you think that my late husband wanted my dumbass son on the throne?" What did he say? He said, "That ain't none of my business. I don't know. He didn't tell me nothing. Can I please leave this meeting now? This could have been an email." That's how you keep a job. How is he supposed to answer that question? That's a black
Knowing the
man
whole
that knows
time
how to
that
keep
he
a
didn't
job.
know.
Yo, the way that man kept his black job, he kept his black job, okay? He said, look, man. And we were yelling at the TV and we're like, don't say nothing. The correct answer here is I don't know. Let's pause for a second. All right. This is what we watch. Happy What We Watch Wednesday. Let me tell you something. It is so powerful to use the 3 words I don't know. Okay. Don't is a contraction, so 4 words, whatever. I don't know. I have no idea. And the way that it will simultaneously absolve you but also make you wise, please use it on the internet. Use it with your relationships. Don't be manipulative unless you want to be. Okay. I don't know. I have no idea, Allison. What do you think? I don't know. And I thank you for reminding me of that scene because that was a very important scene as well. To me, that just showed that Allison should have died. She should have been killed by Rhaenyra. Okay. I can't believe I'm the only one that feels so strongly about this. Enough. It's enough of Alicent. We've had enough. But even if she was going to still stay alive, now she's a little bit confused. You want to be a little bit concerned? You want to have a little bit of remorse now? Because you was big dog. You was talking big in front of Rhaenyra. Now you trying to get the little folks. This is worse than your confessional tour that blew up in your face as well. No one cares that you had sex with Sir Kristen Cole. I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Okay, we don't care. We don't care where you're popping your pussy. We don't. We need you to be a ruler. We need you to be a queen dowager. We need you to support and get your son in check. And you over here running around crazy. And
That's
now
also
you want to talk. Now you want to talk to your consort, whatever you want to call it, not consort, but whoever, your counsel, right? About if you might have made a mistake. No one wants to talk to you, Allison. Notice in every scene, no one wants to talk to Allison. Have you ever seen somebody that is quite literally and constantly in rooms with other people and no one even wants to talk to them? No one wants to hear your words. You over here talking big to Aegon. Everyone feels the same way about you, sweetie. Be quiet. No one wants to hear you talk. And on top of that, what I want to highlight from a cinematic perspective, from a writing perspective, from the reason why I love House of the Dragon, we spend at least 30% of the time at a big ass table with Team Green or with Team Black. We spend 30% of the time at a table with Team Green and Team Black. That's all we get on this television. We're here having whole conversations on what we watch about a show where a lot of the time it's just the people sitting around a table. And those are some of the best scenes we get because we get to see how each character feels not only about themselves, but about everyone else at that table. And I tell you right now, you put any one of us at that table, and we are causing a ruckus. I'm probably not saying too much episodes 1 and 2 at that table either. I'm gonna be at that table like, so y'all still gonna let Aegon sit here? So Aegon's still gonna sit here? Okay. I don't even know what we're talking about. I want to know why this motherfucker's here. Why is Aegon here? Monique, please, he's the king. Please, Monique, have some respect. Why is he here, y'all? And then I'm sitting at Team Black like, y'all got one more time to try the queen. The only reason we're here is because of the queen. I'm turning up. If I'm a Team Green, I'm shaking my head like, this is not serious. They're not serious. I'm in my phone. I'm drinking my Starbucks because they clearly can't keep anachronisms together. I'm drinking my Starbucks. I'm on my iPhone. The entire Team Green council. It's not a serious council. And on Team Black, I'm checking every man that speaks while Rhaenyra is speaking. I'm checking every man that speaks that tries to commit high treason. That is the majority of this show, is people attempting to strategize at a table and nobody's serious. Rhaenys is the only one that's done anything at all whatsoever. Team Green is not serious. Go ahead, Jasmine, and then David. Welcome to the stage. But go ahead, Jasmine.
I actually think since you just talked that out, that's why I like the fact that Rhaenyra did go have the conversation with Alicent, because now they're all questioning their own allegiance. Like the statement that they made earlier that Team Black's only thing is that they agree that Aegon should not be king also applies to Team Green about Team Black. Like nobody really cares that Aegon is in power. And now that Alicent had the conversation with Rhaenyra, she's questioning her own decisions. So I think up to then she thought she was respecting her husband's wishes and just following through with what he wanted. But now after having that realization that she got it wrong and seeing how he's stumbling in front of the council every single meeting, now their own side is questioning why they're really supporting the person that they're supporting. But unfortunately, with the ending of last week's episode, he is going to be out of commission for a little while. So I think they might be more efficient once they get Amon or whoever in power because he actually knows what to do to strike at Team Black.
A brilliant way to talk about like we're actually getting somewhere, right? And that's why we love this show. We got Team Green that burnt, he's Aegon is French toast now, so it's nice. Aegon is just a piece of French toast sitting around. Team Black is also going to be galvanized, as I was mentioning earlier, because we've lost an actual soldier, you know, and so now both teams are like we're feeling the weight of a looming L, right? We're feeling the weight of the L's. The dragons are. We said it when Rhaenyra was with Mysteria, whatever her name is. The dragons are ready for war. They're hungry. They're restless. Mysteria was like, they're kind of lonely. Maybe they're lonely. She's like, yes, they're lonely, but they're lonely because they're not breathing fire. They're not killing anybody. They're not having good, fulfilling lunches. They're not getting all their protein and their carbohydrates that they need. Okay. And we need to get some protein and carbohydrates in these dragons. Okay. And by protein and carbohydrates, I mean Sir Kristen Cole. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Uh, and so that's very important. And so I love that every single scene that we see, and as a writer and as a director, we have to pay attention. Every scene matters, right? This is an extension of Game of Thrones. So we know that we're always going to call back to these moments where we're sitting at a table with a few characters, or we're in a room quietly with two characters, right? All of those scenes matter because later it's going to show the motivations of, say, Daemon. It's going to show the motivations of Aemon. We have no question about anybody's motivation, quite frankly, except for Alicent. Just get rid of her. We have no idea what she's doing. She's just useless. But go ahead, David.
Yeah, I just want to say and thank you for always for these spaces and for these opportunities for us to get off our grievances or our connections or whatever about these TV shows and films. But a couple of things. Number one, just first and foremost, a connection that kind of just made me think of our current situation right now with our current running president and what's going on was as much as Damon, and he is my favorite character by a long shot. And it's kind of sad. I really am wrestling with why I fuck with this dude so much, considering he's really a dickhead. But when he was at that table talking to the young boy whose name escapes me, and he's like, can we hurry this along so that like your father's death, can you kind of like move it along so I could get done what I need to get done? Which reminded me of Biden, which is like, are you going to move on? If I'm talking to God right now, or can you move this along a little bit? Or are you going to be able, he asked them, the other question was, okay, if you can't do that, are you speaking for him? Can you get him to move along on the things that I need him to move on to? And it's the same thing there, where it's just like, well, we have these things that I think most people are asking for. And it's one of the reasons why you're behind is because you keep half-assing it. And when the boy is like, I won't do that either because of rules, then he's just like, then you're no use to me. Get the fuck out of my face. And I feel exactly the same. But then besides that is also the fact that the show is one of the things I have always loved about Game of Thrones is because I've never taken the show seriously as some commentary on life, as much as I've just enjoyed watching it as a grown adult soap opera. It's messy, and that's what I like watching it for, is to watch people get into mess, because I'm not one of these people that believe that people move tactically in life. By and large, most of us are carried by our emotions, and if you draw characters well, then you will also show in the ways in which whatever their strengths and weaknesses are as a person, they are driven by those things, and those things will lead them either to their glory in a world that either supports what they're doing or doesn't support what they're doing. And I always think that's what Game of Thrones has done. And I feel like this season with HOD is doing the same thing. And I think it's crafting it better because it's kind of laying into the soap opera factor. But a lot of these characters, man, I just love seeing, because a lot of what's going on already is because they're mistaken. I think a lot of us were led to believe that people were moving much more intelligent than they were in the first season of Game of Thrones, whereas this one's like, no, hardly anyone is moving intelligently. A lot of these people are moving by their own vicissitudes and their own particular moral values, whether those be good or not. Rhaenys, I believe, is a great example of that. And in a certain way, she's almost kind of the Ned Stark thus far of this season, where it wasn't necessarily the smartest thing to do, but this is a person that is honor bound. I really do believe that that's what guided her and what made her move in the way. She could have very well took that dragon and rolled the fuck off the minute she saw him burn. She had done her job. She basically had stopped or made it very difficult for them to continue on where they were going. And then you had old boy with the dragon. She could have came and said, "Oh, there were things that appeared that I was not prepared for. Let me come back and report that." But honor,
And I,
duty bound as she was.
and I like that you said that because I'm being very serious. Like, I know it's funny, but this is what we watch for a reason. And I'm being very serious. This, the things that we talk about, where we are on point 100% of the time, and I mean it. This is Keeping Up with the Targaryens. If you've ever seen one episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, that is exactly what this is. We are watching The Young and the Targaryens. That is a reference to Young and the Restless. I might have slightly aged myself.
You
Please
did.
remember I'm 26. Thank you so much. I watched it with my abuela. Thank you so much. And I love that you said that, David, because I fully agree. We are watching a soap opera. And no one here is really intelligent, which is why, again, we laugh and we think I'm playing, but I'm dead ass when I say I like the dragons, the dragon eggs, the cobblestone and the castles, before I like any of these characters. Be serious. Y'all are the most unserious, and I can't even give you a Succession line. I can't even give you a Logan Roy line because I do not love you. I do not love you. I hate you, and you are not serious people. Rhaenyra is the closest. Baela and Rhaenyra. Baela, out of complete innocence, and she actually follows instructions, is the only character that I can really respect. Baela has done nothing but follow instructions, study, and be ready for war. We've seen Baela on her dragon already, and she did what she was supposed to do. Then we've got Rhaenys, who pissed me off, quite frankly, because she should have just left. She should have gone to Dragonstone. I wanted you to be alive. Travis, I respect you being open about your grievances and your grieving. Quite frankly, I feel you. We didn't have to kill Meleese and Rhaenys. This didn't have to be a kamikaze mission. We could have regrouped. But Rhaenys is up there. Rhaenyra, I just respect that you serve face, hon. I can relate. Okay? You're gonna serve some face, and you're gonna run a kingdom, and you're gonna fight for your throne. I have to respect that. Notice I've said no men. I've said no men. The only male creatures I've honored are the dragons. Honestly. And so I think, David, I think that's such a good point. We are watching a soap opera. People are having sex with their cousins, their brothers, their uncles, their sisters, their stepmothers. What are we doing? Uh, Allison, Allison, what are you doing? What are you doing? And so I love that you're so right. House of the Dragon is really leaning into the messiness. This is not a serious group. Team Green is not serious. Team Black is not serious. And I love that we get to watch the Young and the Targaryens because it's really just about who's having sex with who, because what drives humans, right? And that's why I love this show. This is a great show. We can all, as a family, as a large community across the globe, enjoy Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon because we often understand the motivations and the motives and the goals of each of the characters. That is brilliant writing. I don't have to agree with what you do, I just have to understand it. And we hit it on every single character. There are at least 35 characters that we need to understand why. When I'm taken out of a show or a film, it's because I'm not invested in your fate and I don't understand why you do the things that you do. Even if you step out of your character, right? Even when you're writing a character like Rhaenyra or Alicent or Corlys or Rhaenys, in those moments where they make a decision that we don't understand or agree with, we can kind of follow how they got there. And that's because the writing is so brilliant in this show. It's so close to like Succession type of writing where there's so much chaos, there's so much going on. Everyone thinks they're right, everyone thinks they're intelligent, and they're not. They're not. They're just a bunch of sensitive, arrogant, horny people. That is the House of the Targaryen. Sensitive, arrogant, and horny. Tej, I didn't mean to come at you like that. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that that's all
Hello?
you are, but I'm saying that that is just the sensitive, arrogant, and horny. That's it. So go ahead, Tej. What do you want to say?
I just
I
want
didn't mean to come at you.
to. One, I cannot. I rebuke that. I rebuke that. Two, my guy Aegon Targaryen is pretty much on death's door. Like he looked pretty charred. Like I don't. If he's alive, that's cool. But like he looked pretty worse for the wear. So I don't know. Like what kind of if he's is he about to be the Viserys king where he's like basically on life support and they're ruling in his stead. There's going to be a very interesting Team Green decisions to be made, and I would like to spend a lot of the next episode with Team Green just to figure out exactly what the plan is. I see they're going to have my baby girl Meleys dragging her head through the town square. I don't like that. That's bad karma, and I just want to say R.I.P. to a real one, Meleys. You will be missed. What a perfect angel. I love Meleys, and I'm very sad that she's gone. And I realized after this episode that I'm not ready to see some of these dragons die. Like I am very attached to them. I'm not ready to see them die, and it's very sad that we know that they're all going to die, except for the three little baby eggs that eventually get to Daenerys. Everybody else is gone. But we need to put this nigga Vagar in the dirt because she is wilding, and I'm tired of her shit. And I don't like bullying, and I don't like that. So let's get her the fuck out of here, please.
Why do y'all feel so strongly about Vagar? First of all,
She
let me
going crazy, bro.
Nah, bro. She is just doing what Aemon and all of her people tell her to do. Y'all need to
Not when
ease
she
up
killed
with my
Luke.
girl.
She was not listening to Aemon when she killed Luke. Remember, she was acting
Who,
off her own accord because she felt
who's
slighted
among
by the
us?
other dragon.
Whomst among us? Whomst among us has not attacked when we felt slighted? Whomst among us has not been in Vagar's situation before? Hold on now, guys. I,
Vagar
am I?
killed a child.
Here's the thing, guys. Luke, Luce, whatever, and the dragon should have thought about that before coming at Vagar. I'm gonna call that a wash. I'm gonna call that a wash because Vagar is just a sweet, sweet baby. She's a sweet baby, and I feel like she gets a bad rep because she's big and she's darker skinned and she has holes in her wings. I don't like it. I don't like it. I think this is slight dragonism. I think this is slight dragoncisms that we are seeing right now, and I don't like it. Turn Vagar up, and if she's good at her job, she's good at her job. I'm so sorry. We're not about to talk about Vagar. But what I will say about Meleys, hold on, because I see y'all didn't like that. That's fine. Turn Vagar up. Me and Vagar, the reason why y'all don't like Vagar is because y'all not built for Vagar. Me and Vagar would be cool. Vagar would listen to me. I don't know how, we're built different. Vagar and me, we're here, huns. Me and you, girl, we got it. Let me tell you something, though. Meleys and Rhaenys, let's get back to the gods, okay? Let's get back to the gods. Did you guys notice that Meleys and Rhaenyra spoke English? So what we really saw was that Meleys is a bilingual queen. She speaks two languages. All she said was attack Meleys, correct? She said attack Meleys in English, right? It wasn't in High Valyrian. So that means Meleys understands when we say we're no stranger to battle, that means that we speak multiple languages. We understand all of the commands in two languages, okay? Bilingual supremacy. I speak English and Spanish and a little French. And I just want y'all to know that the moments that we got with Rhaenys and Meleys in this scene were so powerful in every single way, down to that detail of her saying attack Meleys. Meleys barely breathed fire. Yeah, we know Dracarys. To your point, Tej, went much earlier. We know Dracarys. I could get on Vagar right now and say Dracarys, and we all cooking. All of y'all are cooked. But Meleys knows a series of commands, a series of combination fatalities, and she speaks both English and High Valyrian. So that's all I wanted to say there. But turn Vagar up. Go ahead, Travis. Welcome to the stage.
Like, again, real quick, I have a couple of pushbacks. One, David, I would have to disagree with you. I think if there was an emulation, and I'm going to use that word again, Viserys definitely reminds me more of Ned, and I would say Rhaenyra reminds me more of Rob, if anything. I'm going to say that real quick. Two, I think I love how these dragons. Let's remember that these dragons are technically family. So not only are the family fighting within each other, the Targaryens, but the dragons are siblings killing each other as well. I think that's poetic. It's beautiful. Um, my last thing is this. I have to. I don't know how much the panel's going to disagree with me here. I enjoy Alicent, and why I enjoy. Here we go. Hear me out. I don't believe that we are, and I hope we are. And if we are, I feel bad taking into account what we witnessed the first season, second season, third season. This girl, I have empathy for Alicent. Let's see what her father forced her to do. She wasn't already here, okay? We seen her fidget her fingers, right? She was not really well. Like this was put upon her and pushed upon her. And honestly, I have to give it to somebody to accidentally be the uncoming, the unfold of a whole strong ass house. You're not even a Targaryen, and you bring this shit down? I love it. I love the chaos, Allison. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I hate
That
this. Hate this for us. Hate this for us. Travis, welcome to What We Watch. This is a safe space. Not really. Hate this for us. Hate it for you. We'll have a sidebar outside of this. This is not a part of this meeting. We will not speak at the council table about that comment here. That will be separate. I will have everyone exit the room and we will have a serious conversation. No. Who wants to take over that for me? I can't. I can't.
Yeah, no, no, I'm sorry. I need to, if I could just, wow, that's, I almost started booing the whole, you enjoy, Alice? Enjoy? Okay, listen. First and foremost, she is like 90% of the reason. Her and her creepy father are the reason why I cannot rock with Team Green. Because, sir, as much as your point is valid, okay, about how her childhood was robbed from her, first and foremost, blame her father for that. Okay. I would also like to remind you, since we're going back, if we're not going to do revisionist history here, sir, she made Rhaenyra's life a living hell. Okay, they went from being friends and sisters to her becoming a big time hater. Okay, when her and Christian Cole were doing what they were doing, and Christian Cole felt some type of way that Rhaenyra didn't want to run away and be poor with him. What did he say? Like he had like a farm or something, and after they slept together, she like he suggested to her. Okay, he had the nerve to suggest to Queen Rhaenyra that she renounce her right as queen and run away with him to be like common somewhere. And Ellison made her life a living hell using religion and using just judgment to absolutely splinter her relationship with her friend, her sister, her homegirl. That was her choice. Now I want to bring you back to their earlier teenage years because not only was Rhaenyra willing, okay, to mend those fences out of pity for your girl, okay, out of pity for Allison, she said, listen, I understand it's about to be a team green, team black thing. Your father is a menace. I know what he's done to you. I know what he's done to us. Girl, I'm queen. You know it. But there's politics here. How about my sons marry your daughters? How about your daughters marry my
And
sons?
what,
How about we do that? How about we find ourselves a little bit of an agreement here? Rhaenyra tried to
and
meet
what
her
did
in the
Allison do?
middle and solution some of this. And she said no. And she said no. She said it was still a beef thing. So, sir, I respectfully have to disagree because time and time again, Allison was given an opportunity to choose a better path. And not only did she make Rhaenyra's life a living hell and then make the wrong decision when Rhaenyra tried to solution all of the hell that the men around them put them through, she then ends up riding Christian Cole anyways and is now pregnant with his baby. So what are we
Well, she's
doing here?
not any.
The hypocrisy
She's
is
not
crazy.
anymore, Huns. Okay.
The hypocrisy is crazy. But Mo, you
Yeah.
feel me. You feel me.
Here's
Mo,
my
you hear
thing.
what I'm
Okay.
saying.
See, I thought I was gonna sidebar, but y'all got you done got me. You done got me worked up here. You done got me worked up. I want to be very clear who's speaking. This is Miss Peacherino of What We Watch. I will ensure that with the next four spaces that we have, that you rescind, that you recant the statement you just made, Travis. Okay, welcome to What We Watch. Let me tell you something. You are on a slippery slope, my good sir. If you want to start talking about the empathy that these characters deserve about their childhood experiences, you're going to have to I want to hear you celebrate way more characters than just Alice. Okay, I want you to find excuses for way more characters than just Miss Queen Dowager Allison Hightower. Okay, because if we want to talk about childhood drama, if we want to talk about chaos, then I need way more commotion for the other girlies. I need way more commotion for the Rhaenyras and the Baelas and the Daemons and the Aemons and the Aegons. I need way more, all of them, all 17 of the Aegons, all 35 of the Daemons, all 20 of the all of them, the Rhaenyras, the Rhaenys, the Daenerys, all of them. Because what we're not about to do, Allison is 36 years old. Okay, Allison is 45. She's 45 years old. Okay. I am the queen of chaos. I hear you. But Allison doesn't even do it well. Allison can't even speak good. Okay. Allison don't even take herself seriously. She heard what you just said and she was like, will you listen to my confession of fucking Sir Kristen Cole? Really? No.
She would have said it's too late to do the right thing because I see Barbara's hand there, Mo, and I just also want to add before we move on because now I'm worked up. We saw in the last episode Rhaenyra did it again. Okay, put herself in sackcloth and ashes and tried to sit next to the girl and say, "Can we find a better way?" And she wanted to double down on the lie. Travis, don't come in here again with
The
that mess.
seed was
Don't come in
planted.
here again
The
with that
seed
mess.
was
If the
planted.
seed
Blame the
was
parents.
Allison
Blame the
and
parents.
I'm not blaming the parents. If we're blaming the parents, then House of Targaryen is a show that nobody is accountable for that we see right now. If we start to blame all the parents, you're on a very slippery slope to celebrate Allison and celebrate her chaos and empathize with her difficult childhood. No, 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 no. Jasmine, please feel free.
Now, I kind of see where Travis is coming from. I don't like Allison. She is not a character that I have grace for in any shape or form. But there was a line in the episode that was kind of thrown in there to draw on some of our emotions where she said that Aegon had no idea what sacrifices were made. And I think she was putting herself and looking back on her life and seeing kind of how her dad's plans affected her. Now, granted, she did double down and she's still, going to have to deal with the fallout, but I think it'll be a lot more satisfying, right? You said you wanted her dead earlier. I think it's going to be much more satisfying to have to watch her launch her whole bloodline in and not be able to intervene and stop anything that's happening. Otto is who I want to see actually die after, he watches all his grandkids die because of what he was plotting on before they even came into the world. But it's going to be much more enjoyable to watch her whole family die and not stop it.
When I tell you that I see the notes apps, thank you, Jasmine. I see the notes apps of praying for the downfall. I don't know why, but what we watch was based on why we enjoy what we watch, and it was birthed out of tragedy and isolation and depression. And it made me happy to be in these universes and these worlds that other artists, other human beings created, right? So while this is fiction, there are real people creating these worlds for us. And I get us, I just feel so good when I can prey on the downfall of a fictional character. It makes me feel good. I do. I walk away from the episode and I'm like, that was a good episode. I feel like I can conquer anything. You know what? There's some good writers out there that understand me, and I feel seen, and art is good, and art will survive us all. And when Alicent dies and Sir Kristen Cole dies, I'm going to have a good day. Those are going to be 2 good days for me. Hopefully, it's one day. Hopefully, it happens all in one day. Hopefully, all in one episode. We get rid of both of them. You know? I think that'd be great. Notice how this smile is just like forming on my face. Because Alicent, mm-mm, I have, there's no empathy. There's no empathy that I have that I can muster up for Alicent. Zero. Zero. She's not serious. You get empathy for me about your childhood when you acknowledge your childhood, when you acknowledge your issues in front of other people, when you have sex with people. We're not gonna get into that. Have sex with who you want to. But y'all know how I feel about Alicent's sexual decisions. uh, you will get empathy from me when you have a sense of accountability at your big age of 43. That's when you will get empathy from me about the trauma of your childhood. You run around begging for forgiveness from people that don't care. Let me say that again. You are begging for forgiveness from your own father, your own family, your own constituents that don't care. I'm here to tell you we don't care. Do you know how low of life that you have to be to try to confess something that's eating at your soul and no one cares? Do you know how many wrong decisions have to be made for you to be at that point in your life? That no one wants to console you in a thing that's eating you alive inside, even though you actively chose to do it. There's a lot of bad decisions. And it doesn't just start with your childhood trauma. Okay? There was a lot between the childhood trauma and you having Sir Kristen Cole as your future potential baby daddy. Sir Kristen Cole don't even take you seriously. When such a lowborn doesn't even take you seriously, there's a lot that you have to address within. Go maybe take yourself to, maybe you should have been at Rook's Rest. Maybe take yourself to one of those other places, those small places, and go take a vacation and look at yourself in the mirror for a little bit and think about the decisions you've made at your big age of 47. Okay? Because it's just not serious. Tej, go ahead.
I don't like Allison, but I want to respect dropping a controversial take because I have one of my own. I hate Vagar. Vagar is my least favorite character. I'm sick of her. I don't like how she's been running around acting. She killed a black woman in season 1. I just don't fuck with Vagar and nothing that she got going on, period. I want Vagar to die more than I want Christian Cole to die, period. I'm tired of Vagar. I didn't like how she was acting in this episode. I didn't like that. So Vagar is on my hit list. That's my number one ops now. Vagar has taken the spot away from Christian Cole.
You have Allison, Kristen Cole, Aegon, and you want Vagar gone? You're not serious. This is not
Let's
serious.
get Vagar out of here first. Then we can deal with those
This is no
noobs.
longer a serious conversation. Who are you putting in place of Vagar?
I want Vagar gone. And then it'll be easy to get rid of those other 3. But Vagar is an actual, unlike those other 3 very unserious people, Vagar is ready for war and she is about that life. I cannot hate on her out there in that field, but we need to get her out of here or else Team Black has no chance. I don't know how the fuck Team Black gonna get Vagar out of here. Vagar might be unkillable. Vagar might be John Wick of dragons. Like, I don't know how they're going to kill Vagar, but it seems like to me that Vagar ain't scared of nobody, and Vagar has been in more battles than all the dragons. Vagar bigger than all the dragons. Vagar has a lot of advantages on her side, and I don't like that.
Turn Vagar up. Okay, so before we wrap up, because we have had a beautifully perfect, outside of the terrible comments about Allison. Allison, sweetie, I'm so sorry that you were made to believe that you were worthy of anything. Allison, I'm so sorry. You're not. Get out of here. Okay. This is what we watch. Tej, Matt, Jess, Jasmine, Travis, David. I want you to give me your top 3 favorite characters of the show. We're on season 2, episode 4. We've seen some people die. We've seen some people to get turned into, burnt ribs, a little burnt on the outside. Aegon, Aegon might be tasty to some dragons right now. A little burnt on the outside, a little crispy, a little pink and juicy on the inside, just a little bit. Love that for Aegon. Love that. So tell me your favorite characters, your top 3. And again, let me repeat mine. It's Vagar, Okay, I'm being petty. It's actually Melis, R.I.P., and then it's Vagar, and then it's Vagar again. Then it's Sunfire, and then it's all of the dragon eggs, and then it's the castles and the beautiful cobblestone. I really do like the cobblestone. I think secure ground flooring is very, very important for the success of a kingdom. And then it's Bela, and that's what you got for me. Those are my characters list. So Tej, give me your character list, and let's go down the panel.
My favorite character is Cyrex, who's Rhaenyra's dragon. My
Mm-hmm.
second favorite character is Bela, who is a black queen. I love
Mm-hmm.
her, and no harm shall come to her. And I think my third favorite character, unfortunately, is Rhaenys, and she's gone. And I'm very sad about that.
Rainey's turned up. I like that. That's a solid list. Jess, give it to us.
Yeah, for me, I'm definitely gonna have to go Rhaenys.
R.I.P.
Shout out to the Queen Rhaenyra. You know what I'm saying? Just based off of the actress alone, the performance,
Mm-hmm.
insane. Um, and then I'm stuck between Bela and Damon, so that they can tie for three. Because I know Damon gonna turn up, and yeah, my Black Queen, she's doing her thing, looking good on the screen.
I know that's right. Go ahead, Jasmine.
I'm not gonna say the dead ones. It would have been Rhaenys last week, but now I would have to say Bela, Rhaenyra, Corlys, because I feel like he's gonna have an interesting story arc, and I want to say Jace is gonna be an honorable mention because he's starting to show that he's thinking in these recent council meetings. He's trying. He'll get there.
You got a soft spot for the babies. Mm-mm.
I
You got a
mean,
soft spot
who
for the
else is there on Team Black? Who
babies.
else
No,
do we have?
let me, I'm going to throw you something, though. He do have good taste in women. So I will say that. Go ahead, Travis.
Okay.
Uh,
First, this is gonna
no,
be
don't say Allison.
my first up. This is from top to most top, however that goes. So first up is Allison. It is her. Second favorite is it's
Oh,
fine. It's fine. It's okay.
Go ahead, Travis.
I love her complex, but yeah, I see the vision. The second one is Rhaenyra, and my top, my boy, Anon. That is the truth to me. He should be king. But I'm gonna leave it alone. I am Team Black though, but I want Anon to be king.
Be for real. How are you Team Black? You just named 3 Team Greens.
oh no,
No,
you're
I
talking about
said
Allison.
Rhaenyra.
He's clearly Team Green. He said he wants Aemon
Team
to be
Green, you
king,
got
but he's
Allison
Team
and
No, I
Black.
said
Aegon talking
Rhaenyra.
about. He's talking about Team Black. He barely said Rhaenyra's name. He
All
whispered
I'm hearing is
Rhaenyra's name.
Team Green since he requested a mic. That's crazy.
Nah.
I need to see you next week at what we watch Wednesday. We're gonna check in again because I know Allison finna embarrass you again. She finna embarrass you again. I'm just letting you know right now. Allison is about to embarrass you again. Remember, I said that. Go ahead, David.
I'm gonna be honest. I do not go with who has the best vicissitudes or who is the most moral or best to me. I go with who feels like the most complex character, most intricate characters. And my top, actually maybe four, are the ones that are the main four. It's guy, girl, and then it's number one, Damon. Number two, on the other side, oh my gosh, I'm already forgetting her fucking name. Rhaenyra, and then uh, Allison, and then Amond. And just because they're just the most interesting motherfuckers to watch because they be fucking up in my own personal belief is again going with the soap opera thing. I'm not watching this for morality. As far as I'm concerned, any and everybody in this motherfucker is an upperclassman and they're all shit and they all deserve to die. I don't give a fuck about any single one of them unless you're talking about what's named bastard sons, Corliss, and these other lowly people. Those are the ones I might be rooting for in morality. But all the rest of these motherfuckers can go straight to fucking hell because the High Towers are pieces of shit. So are the fucking Targaryens. All these motherfuckers can burn in hell. But if I got to choose my Hellions, those are my four.
Okay, go ahead, Dev. Top 3, Dev. Okay, it doesn't seem like Deb is with us. So we will wrap this up. But what I will say is that if we're talking about a not like us run, Rhaenyra is the closest. If Kendrick Lamar is here, shout out Dot. Rhaenyra is the closest one to pull a run like that. Allison could never, Sir Krista Cole could never, Otto could never. Eamon could never. Damon and Eamon maybe. But Eamon don't have. Eamon, we already saw Eamon back away when he was in the fetal position talking about he regretted what he did. Kendrick would never. Okay, Kendrick would never. Not like us run. It's Rhaenyra. Okay, that's where the power lies. Rhaenyra stands on business. Rhaenyra did try to go find peace, and that to me is that's comparable to Kendrick too, because there was a moment. But if Rhaenyra had a line that was here today, it would be, "Fuck the big three. It's just big me." Okay, that's Rhaenyra's line. And that is what we watch. Thank you so much for joining us, Teach. Thank you for co-hosting. Happy What We Watch Wednesday. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. We are on YouTube, guys. We are on video on YouTube. I am so excited about everything. And please, please come to my film festival. It's more like a film event. It's going to be super immersive, super interactive. You're going to feel the community. You're going to feel the presence of everyone that loves film and television. And we're going to be highlighting some amazing artists in a gorgeous venue. So go to whatwewatch.net/SOTSTix. That's S seen on the scene, SOTSTIX. Or whatwewatch.net/events and get your tickets. It's on Kobe Day, August 24th. That's What We Watch Wednesday. And before I go, I want to give a recommendation because let it not be lost on anyone. I am a huge The Bear fan. I am a huge The Boys fan. House of the Dragon has just taken over our lives. But please make sure that you are tuning in to Hulu The Bear, Hulu FX The Bear, and The Boys on Amazon Prime. We're talking prestige television, guys. And Severance comes January of 2025, and I can't wait to be in these rooms with you guys again. So thank you. Ciao.